Now the delete operation is pretty easy. We already created an action to delete lectures. We haven't filled it in, but we created it. So here we just call that action. So delete lecture action, run. By the way, the namespaces get automatically imported when I do this, but make sure that you're importing them in your IDE just so you don't run into errors. So here we'll call the delete lecture action, and that action just takes the lecture that we want to delete. And once we delete it, we need to call the reorder lectures action again, because at this point, we don't know which lecture was deleted. It could be one in section 2 or in section 1. And whichever gets deleted, we want to reorder all of the lectures to make sure that they follow a sequence of 1 down to the end. So we are basically going to call this reorder course lectures action again. Reorder course lectures action, run, and just like we've done up here, that function takes, or that action takes the course. And once that's done, we just return section resource. Actually, we'll return the whole section, collection, and let's just return all of the courses for that section. And the reason I'm returning everything here is because we have reordered all the lessons for that section. So we want to basically rehydrate the front end with all of that data. So course sections, and we load the lectures with it. So we're just sending everything back to the front end, including all the lessons for that section, because we have probably changed the orders for every single lecture in the delete process. So let's go back here to the delete operation, and we can just do, it does take the lecture. And in here, we can just do lecture delete. And that's all we need to do in that operation. Okay, that's all we need to do in the action. Just lecture, delete, and we're done. All right, let's quickly go and test this in the front end. We'll copy the hash ID of, let's just say we copy for a lecture that is in section 1. So we can see that everything gets reordered. So for now, all the ordering is 1, 2, 3. Let's delete this section or this lecture, which is in section 2. That's the first section. And if the functionality we've implemented works well, everything should be reordered, and this sort order 3 should become 2. So let's go in and delete that lecture. So over in Postman, I'm just going to pop in the lecture ID here. And I also need the course ID, which I'm going to pop in here. And let's delete that lecture. Pop, the lecture is deleted. We receive all the sections for that course again. And going back to the database, let's refresh. And all the lectures get reordered with 1 and 2. And that is exactly what we want. So our create, update, and delete operations are working well for lectures. But one thing that you'll notice here is at this point, pretty much any logged in user can update a lecture or can destroy a lecture as long as they have the ID. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. And that's because we haven't implemented any authorization to protect lectures or sections or even courses from being updated by users who don't own them. So let's quickly come back in the next video and introduce policies, which is where we are going to talk about protecting these resources from being tampered with.